friends, welcome back to my channel. We're here today with another book haul. I know I did a book haul less than 2 weeks ago, but I have a box of books. A box. When I say a box of books, I mean a real box of books. My friend, one of my oldest friends, not old in terms of her chronological age, just one of the people that I've been friends with the longest. We started off as pen pals. I've told you about her before because you don't really spend too much time in my life without me talking about my friend Tara. We started off as pen pals when we were teenagers in Jamaica. We were both living in Jamaica, going to school. She was going to a boarding school, and we fell out of touch briefly for a few years in her 20s. Yeah. And then we reconnected. And we've been in touch ever since. She still doesn't live close to me, but she came to my wedding. She's been to New York a couple of times, and she sent me this box of books from my daughter because she says, you know, the time passes really fast. And even though these are books that are too big for my daughter to read right now, they're above her reading level. Does she have a reading level? I guess she does. But yeah, so my friend Tara sent me this box of books to prepare for when my daughter gets to that age where she can read them. But hello, a box of books doesn't come in this house without me wanting to read them. And as it turns out, some of these are books that I'm going to be reading right now because we're starting off with some middle grade books, which they weren't technically on my TBR for middle grade March this year, but these are middle grade books that I've been wanting to read. So it is just, I mean, it's like kismet that Tara would send me these books because these are books that I've been wanting to read. First is The Mighty Miss Malone by Christopher Paul Curtis. Like, look at this cover. When I first saw this book cover on the internet, I said I want to read that book just for the cover. And now look, I have my own copy. Bud, Not Buddy by Christopher Paul Curtis. I read The Watsons Go to Birmingham 1963 a couple of years ago. Doris from All the Books recommended The Watsons Go to Birmingham 1963 to us, our little reading group. And so I read that for middle grade March, maybe 2 years ago. And when I read it, I said, I want to read more from this author, specifically Bud, Not Buddy. And I just didn't get a chance to get it yet. But now here I have a copy. So thank you, Tara, for sending me this box of books. And just like, I know the box is for my daughter, but it's also for me. Let's just be fair. Then if you watched my videos at the end of January, when I talked about books that I read in January, my January recap video, I guess, I gushed about reading Anne of Green Gables, L.M. Montgomery's Anne of Green Gables, the first book in the series. And I read an electronic copy from the New York Public Library, and I said, I'm going to get a physical copy from my shelves because I want to read the series at some point. I intend to read the second book in the series this month, but hello. Tara sent me Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery, the most beautiful paperback edition. Look at this cover. I don't know necessarily about Anne's face. Like, I don't imagine that she's this old in this book, but isn't this delightful? Isn't this delightful? So yeah, thank you, Tara. I don't think she watched that video. I don't think she watched that video where I talked about wanting that book, but she seemed to have read my mind. So other books, and just bearing in mind that some of these are supposed to be children's books. So Tangerine by Edward Bloor, I have never heard of, but this is about a boy who sees the world from behind glasses so thick he looks like a bug-eyed alien, and I wear glasses and my husband wears glasses, and thankfully my daughter doesn't need glasses. But I feel like she needs to be sensitive to why people wear glasses, right? So that's a book that we're going to be reading together. Kizzy Ann's Stamps by Jerry Watts. I have never heard about this book, but isn't that a delightful cover? I love that there's a lot of black representation in some of these books. I'm here for that. Roland Smith's Peak. Haven't heard of this one, but maybe you have. This is another middle grade book. When 14-year-old Peak Marcello, a long-lost father, presents the opportunity for them to summit Everest together. My daughter is going to be spending time outdoors doing nature walks and hikes with me because that's what I like to do. So yeah, books like these will help prepare her for that time. A junior classics for young readers copy of Little Women. Another one of The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Another one of The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Those are all junior classics. This is Baseball in April and Other Stories by Gary Soto. I think I've read something by Gary Soto before, but I don't remember what that was. This is a journal because Tara always sends me a journal. Every time she sends me a package, she sends me a journal, and I love getting her journals. And my daughter and I are starting to journal together. Like, we've started writing down little things about what has happened in her day. And she does artwork in the books, just so we don't have it scattered around kind of like this. It's good to have it in a book. So this will come in pretty handy. The Mouse and the Motorcycle, Beverly Cleary. One might know that if Beverly Cleary were to invent a mouse, it would be a down-to-earth, boyish mouse with a proclivity for getting into scrapes. This is a big book. This is a pretty big book. So this is for... this is probably for us to read together. She gets a little older. It's 186 pages. And yeah, it's a special read aloud edition. Excited about that one. Here are some other books. This one I think is a part of a series. What does it say? Let's read it here. Dragon and Soldier, books by Timothy Zahn. Not familiar with this, but we're going to check these all out. We'll probably find some new things to love. For the Love of Pete, an orphan train story by Ethel Barker. One of the prompts for middle grade March was to read a book that featured an orphan. So, if you didn't want to read Anne of Green Gables, you could check out An Orphan Train Story by Ethel Barker, For the Love of Pete. This is also a really gorgeous book, like a gorgeous edition. I love this kind of matte covering on paperback books. Here's some other junior classics for young readers. One of Treasure Island and another copy of Little Women. Maybe we'll give this away to our cousin. Here are some books for young readers. This is probably middle grade as well. This is the Cupid Chronicles. The Wedding Planner's Daughter by Colleen Murtagh Parator. That's a pretty cover. When the only library in Bramble, Cape Cod, announces it is in danger of closing its doors, the town residents have got to raise big money and fast. 13-year-old Willa Havisham must put her crush on Joey Kennelly on the back burner to save the library. But the question is, how? That sounds fun. The Haunted Museum, a Phantom Music Box. This is a scholastic book by Suzanne Wayne. Haven't heard of that one, but yeah, here's another copy of The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I'm going to get that name right. So yeah, all the duplicates we will gift to someone else. We have lots of people, a little our age or a little old. When I say our, I mean my daughter's age or a little older, that we can gift some of these books to. Here is a scholastic edition of a Nelson Mandela book, No Easy Walk to Freedom, biography by Barry Denenberg. So that's cool. Here is a book by Margaret Peterson entitled Haddocks. And a flower power book, Violet in Bloom by Lauren Miracle. Friendship grows in the most unexpected places. Isn't this beautiful? At the beginning of 5th grade, Violet, Katie Rose, Camilla, and Yasaman were 4 girls with little in common but their flower names. Fast forward one adventure-filled month and their FFFs, Flower Friends Forever. Oh, that's cute. Then we have The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. This is one of the Chronicles of Narnia books by C.S. Lewis. And I haven't read that series yet, so I don't think I can start. This is book 5, so I can't start with that one, but at some point we'll get the whole series. Then we have a book called The Love Dare by Kendrick. This is a journal. So, okay, this is for me. This is for me and my husband. Unconditional love is eagerly promised at weddings, but rarely practiced in real life. This is Christian life and love and marriage and religion kind of workbook. So yeah, it has dares for you to take one each day. Okay, that's cute. So we will go through that. Okay. So here are a couple more junior classics for young readers. Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery again. So this is a smaller book. One of the things I'll do is make a comparison and see how much of the book is condensed into these. So I now have a full edition and an abridged edition, I assume, of this book. So one of the things I'll do is make a comparison to just see how much is cut out. And I guess if you want to know how much is eliminated or omitted from a book to make an abridged edition, this is a copy of Moby Dick. You know how big Moby Dick is. So this is 178 pages. I mean, still nothing to sneeze at. Like, you have to be at least, this says ages 7 and up. You have to be at least 7 years old to be able to read this kind of book, right? I mean, I guess you just have to be at that reading level. I don't know. What do I know about children and their reading? Doris works with kids. Maybe you could tell me, Doris. In Grandma's Attic by Arletta Richardson. This is book 1 in the Grandma's Attic series. That is so cute. As a little girl, Arletta never would have guessed what her grandma was up to when she was her age. Ooh, that is until she discovered the secrets hidden in her grandma's attic. Okay. Then we have a Timmy Failure. Mistakes Were Made. This is by Stephen Pastis. Timmy Failure is a winner by Jeff Kinney, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Doesn't this look like Diary of a Wimpy Kid? Like the lined background and even the character here. So I don't know. Like, this is exactly like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Is this Diary of a Wimpy Kid for younger kids? I don't know. But this is a scholastic book. My name is Failure, Timmy Failure. I'm the founder, president, and CEO of the best detective agent in town, probably the nation. Okay, so is this like Encyclopedia Brown Boy Detective? Who knows? We will find out. But speaking of Diary of a Wimpy Kid, here's a Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and here is Timmy Failure. So I guess no, the characters don't look alike, but the covers certainly do. Hello. The red lined background. But that's it. That's all. So yeah, Diary of a Wimpy Kid was a novel in cartoons, and Tara sent me book 1. I know this is book 1, and this is book 3, and this is book 5, and there's one more. Book 2. Okay, so we have book 1, 2, and 3, which we can start with, and then we have book 5. So no, we're not going to be reading these right now, but it's good to be prepared. Here is another Haddock's book, Among the Hidden, scholastic book by Margaret. What do we say her name was? Margaret Peterson. Yeah. So there's a Haddock's book. There are 2 Haddock's books, and then there's another one, The Quantum League Spell Robbers by Matthew J. Kirby. When Ben Warner is recruited to join a science camp. Yeah. You know, I like so Tara has 2 children. She has a son and a daughter. And I'm assuming, maybe just by stereotypes, that some of these are books that her son read and some of these are books that her daughter read when they were younger. But I don't think we have to pigeonhole children in their reading. Like, girls can read books about sports and detectives and science camps and, books with boys as protagonists, right? So I'm going to offer all the books to my daughter. I want her to read whatever interests her. So we'll kind of let that develop organically. So I'll offer books to her that are books maybe written with boy readers in mind, but also books written with girl readers in mind. And we'll do it like that. Then here's another book, which I think was for me. This is Every Breath You Take, Introducing Laura Principal, a novel by Michelle Spring. This is old library copy. You can tell it was sold from the library. So yeah, it says it has the energy of a Sue Grafton mystery. So I will be checking this one out. That one is for mommy. And then here are a couple more books. Books about science, questions and answers. Science, explore how things work. When I was a child, my parents had this science book, kind of like this. Maybe not. It was bigger. It was a book with experiments in it. So it wasn't like this. It was a science book though. In our house, in our bookshelves. And my brother would go through and try the experiments on his own. My brother taught himself a lot about science by reading that book and other books like it. So I think it's important to have a book like this. Not necessarily an entire set of encyclopedias, because that could be a little daunting. Just one or two books that seem accessible so that kids can just, explore. So there's that one about science, and then there's this one about coral reefs and a close-up look at the natural world of a coral reef. So we're going to be checking that one out. And then here's another book that is a big book, which my daughter could read right now. Alice in Wonderland, based on the story by Lewis Carroll. Follow Alice down the rabbit hole. So this one has illustrations, so we can explore the story and read about Alice and learn that story right now. So yeah, these are these are the books that my friend Tara sent me recently. A big box of books. And Tara, I'm just so excited. I'm sure you've seen how excited I am. So initially, these books were intended for my daughter, I think, most of them, but we will be reading them together. So you will see them and hear about them more as we move forward. So that was our bookish box that we received. Thank you so much, Tara, for sending this box to us. And we received this box with the love that we know it was sent with. Thank you so much for sharing books that we know that you and your family have already loved. And so we'll be reading them and thinking about you guys as we read them. So thank you for sharing that with us. Everyone else, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to hear more about these books as we read them. And if you have children and you've been reading books with them and you want to share recommendations as we move forward, books that we can maybe start off with. For my daughter, she's 2.5, but she reads every day. So yeah, if you have recommendations for us, then definitely share that with us in the comments as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. You'll want to come back and see the videos that we have coming up soon. Hopefully they'll be exciting as well. And yeah, until we come back for another video, thank you so much and happy reading. Bye.